The movie opens with a woman named Xian arriving in a bustling city called Mahaj. T is a wealthy Chinese heiress who has given away her fortune to fight against the rising crime in the city. Recently, there have been many crimes targeting the local Chinese community in Mahaj. To protect the Chinese residents, the Chinese embassy has teamed up with the local government to tackle this issue. When T arrives in Mahaj, she is met by a special security team from the Chinese embassy. They are there to ensure her safety during her stay in the city. The scene shifts to a dense, wild area where two former soldiers are preparing for a mission. One is Pa Yu, a former member of the Thai Special Forces, and the other is Long Fei, a former Chinese Special Forces officer. They are part of a group of mercenaries led by a man named Devereaux. He tells them they're on a humanitarian mission to rescue prisoners held by terrorist groups. However, Pa Yu and Long Fei are unaware that Devereaux has a hidden agenda. He plans to free his leader, a notorious terrorist named Collins, who is being held in an MI6 detention camp in a nearby village. Soon after, Devereaux and his team launch a violent attack on the village, which is guarded by Indonesian soldiers. The sudden chaos awakens a man named Jaka, who is horrified to find his village under attack and learns that his wife has died in the violence. Amid the turmoil, Jaka comes face to face with Pa Yu, and they engage in a fierce fight. Just then, one of Devereaux's men, Moke, throws a grenade at Jaka, knocking him to the ground. Devereaux and his crew quickly move to the MI6 detention camp, where they eliminate the guards and free Collins. They leave the other prisoners behind, forgotten. Filled with rage, Collins takes revenge on the MI6 agent who captured him, killing him in cold blood. Afterward, Collins and his men plant a bomb and blow up the camp to erase any evidence of their actions. Unbeknownst to them, Jaka has survived the attack. Determined to honor the dead, he digs graves for his wife and the villagers, giving them a proper farewell. After burying them, Jaka vows to seek revenge on those responsible for the tragedy. Meanwhile, in Mahaj, a woman named Su Feng receives news that Collins has been successfully freed. Excited by this information, Su Feng decides to hire Collins and his crew to help her achieve her own goals. A few days later, Jaka learns that Pa Yu and Long Fei are taking part in an illegal fight in the city of Mahaj. Angry and eager for revenge, Jaka rushes to the fight and watches as Pa Yu competes. Even though his heart is filled with rage, Jaka tries to learn from Pa Yu's impressive Muay Thai fighting style. When Pa Yu defeats his opponent and is declared the winner, Jaka uses some money to bribe a member of the fighting committee, allowing him to join the competition. Soon, Jaka and Long Fei face each other in the ring. Driven by anger, Jaka attacks fiercely, but his strikes are easily countered by Long Fei, who is skilled in Tai Chi. Still, Jaka manages to land some sharp and precise blows with his martial arts skills. However, in the end, Long Fei overpowers Jaka. Recognizing Jaka as the villager he fought just days before, Pa Yu asks Long Fei to take Jaka back to their home. They treat Jaka's injuries and share food with him while explaining the truth about what happened. They want to make sure Jaka understands and doesn't mistakenly seek revenge on the wrong people. Pa Yu and Long Fei reveal that they are mercenaries working for Devereaux, who misled them into believing they were on a humanitarian mission to save civilians from terrorists. In reality, Devereaux's plan was to free Collins, the terrorist leader. After freeing Collins, they were captured and thrown into a cage. Luckily, Pa Yu and Long Fei managed to escape and free the other prisoners just before a bomb exploded and destroyed the place. Now, Pa Yu and Long Fei explain to Jaka that they are hunting for Collins and his gang, and they should team up to achieve their goals. However, after getting Pa Yu and Long Fei drunk, Jaka has a hidden plan. He goes to the police station and reports them for being involved in illegal gambling. Pa Yu and Long Fei are quickly arrested and taken to the Central Police Department. Meanwhile, Jaka contacts Collins' middleman, telling him that Pa Yu and Long Fei survived the explosion and are at the police station. Upon hearing this news, Collins and his crew decide to kill Pa Yu and Long Fei. Elsewhere, Su Feng has given orders to Collins and his crew to kill Xian. She sees T as a threat to her illegal activities in Mahaj. After T attends an interview at a television station, she plans to go to the Chinese embassy for protection. However, Collins and his crew arrive and attempt to kill her. In the chaotic attack, many bodyguards lose their lives, including Madame Li Ang, the head of security at the Chinese embassy, who is shot. Before she falls, Madame Li warns T that she needs to go to the Central Police Department, as it is the safest place for now. She urges the police to help T reach the embassy. Gathering all her courage, T escapes from Collins and his crew and finally makes it to the police station. Meanwhile, unable to catch T, Collins and his men head to the Central Police Department to eliminate Yu and Long Fei before they can tell the police about the crimes committed in the forest. When T arrives at the police station and asks for help, the officers struggle to understand her due to a language barrier. A policeman then brings Long Fei to act as an interpreter while Yu is interrogated in another room. Just then, Collins and his crew burst into the police station, attacking everyone in sight. They easily overpower the policeman, while Long Fei and Yu try to protect T. Long Fei helps T escape the chaos as Yu battles one of Collins' men, Steiner. The two engage in a fierce fight until Jaya, who has been watching, shoots Steiner from behind, allowing Yu to finish him off. After the fight, Jaya reveals that he is on Yu and Long Fei's side. He had intentionally let them get caught to draw Collins out. Jaya then urges Yu to leave quickly while he deals with the remaining members of Collins' crew. Meanwhile, Long Fei faces another of Collins' henchmen, Joey, and manages to defeat him. After the fight, Long Fei runs away with Yu and T. However, Collins and his men are determined not to let the three escape, even though some of his trained henchmen have been taken down. Back at the Chinese embassy, the Chinese ambassador learns that Xian has gone missing and immediately orders a search to find her. Yu, Long Fei, and Xian successfully escape from Collins and his crew. Collins is furious because he has lost track of them. Soon, he receives a call from Su Feng, who questions him about their failure to kill T. Just then, a policeman corners Collins and aims his gun at him. But Jaya suddenly appears and arrests the policeman. Collins is suspicious of Jaya at first, wondering why he is helping him. However, Jaya manages to convince Collins that he knows the city of Mahaj very well and can help him achieve his goals. Hearing this, Collins agrees to let Jaya assist him. Meanwhile, Yu, Long Fei, and T plan to seek refuge at the Chinese embassy. Collins and his crew discuss their next move, realizing they must capture T within 48 hours, as Su Feng has instructed. Jaya suggests they go to the Chinese embassy, knowing that Yu and Long Fei will likely take T there. Sure enough, one of Collins' men, who is spying on the embassy, spots T heading in that direction. Collins and his crew immediately set off in pursuit. During their escape, Yu and the others encounter Jaya. He tells them to leave at once while he gives Collins and his crew false information to buy them time. However, Devereaux is suspicious of Jaya, sensing he might have his own agenda in helping Collins. Yu, Long Fei, and T find a place to hide and make a plan. Meanwhile, as Jaya travels to Collins' headquarters, he remembers the destruction of his village caused by Devereaux and his men. Deep down, Jaya feels the pain of those memories and is determined to take revenge. When Collins arrives at his base, he receives a call from Yu. Yu offers to exchange T for $100,000 and his freedom, suggesting they meet at the Old Polo Club. Without hesitation, Collins agrees, knowing time is running out. After the call, Collins instructs his crew to spend all their remaining money to hire shooters to kill Yu and Long Fei as soon as possible. The next morning, Yu visits his former boss and persuades him to give them a gun, reminding him that he once owed Yu a favor. As they prepare for the exchange, Collins and his crew arrive first, along with Jaya and the mercenaries they hired to help take them down. That evening, Yu sneaks in through the back door, while Long Fei and Xian enter through the front door to meet Collins and his crew. Yu quickly takes down the mercenaries one by one, leaving only Collins' henchmen standing. During the exchange, Jaya hands over the briefcase filled with ransom money, while Long Fei prepares to give T to Collins. However, before Collins can reach T, Yu arrives and opens fire on Collins and his men. A fierce gunfight breaks out. Jaya reveals his disguise and faces Devereaux in battle. Meanwhile, Long Fei fights Joey in a tough struggle. After a heated fight, Long Fei manages to knock Joey out by hitting him on the head with a brick. Once Joey is down, Long Fei rushes to help Jaka, who is struggling against Devereaux. By combining their fighting skills, Tai Chi from Long Fei and Silent from Jaka, they finally defeat Devereaux together. Shortly after, Jaka quickly calls the Chinese ambassador and informs him about Xian's location. Meanwhile, Pa Yu and Collins, having run out of ammunition, engage in a fierce hand-to-hand battle, using all their martial arts skills. Jaka tries to help Pa Yu, and together they fight Collins, but he proves to be tough and knocks them down several times. As Collins manages to pin down Pa Yu and Jaka, he spots T and prepares to shoot her. Just then, Long Fei rushes in, jumping in front of T to protect her from the bullets. Once Pa Yu gets back on his feet, he challenges Collins to a barehanded duel. The Muay Thai master puts all his strength into defeating Collins, who is a skilled mixed martial arts fighter. In an intense showdown, Pa Yu finally manages to kill Collins. Suddenly, Joey, who is thought to be dead, reappears and tries to shoot Pa Yu. However, T intervenes and takes him down with a rifle. The next day, the police and guards from the Chinese embassy arrive to pick them up. Madame Li Ang reveals that Jaka was the one who informed them of their location. She then takes T to the Chinese embassy for safety. Finally, Su Feng is arrested by the police for all the crimes she committed. The film ends. So the moral of the story is, if you ever think about hiring mercenaries, just remember they might end up getting drunk, arrested, and causing more chaos than your original problem. Sometimes, the real enemy is just bad planning and too many late-night snacks.